Travis again here. Today we're going to be bringing you another outdoor gear review. Today is going to be the UA or Under Armour Bozeman SpeedFreak 2.0 hunting boots. So I've been using these boots for about 6 months now. Haven't been able to put them through a lot of really good heavy use though. And so I had a scheduled work trip come up where I was traveling to Salt Lake City, Utah, and I thought that would be the perfect time to test these boots out and really see what they can do and what they're made of. So if you've never been to Salt Lake City over in Utah, it is a gorgeous place. It is sitting in the middle of a bowl of mountains. So you go up to Provo, you go to down south to Sandy, Utah, all those areas around there up to Park City. It's just all mountains throughout there. So it's a great way to really put these boots to the test and to put myself through the test too, because I live at sea level. So coming from Houston, Texas, going to Salt Lake City, that was a huge change. You know, we went from, you know, maybe like 5 or 10 feet above sea level all the way up to 5,500 feet above sea level. So drastic change for me, what I'm used to, and it was definitely a challenge. First part of the review I want to talk about is the stability of the boot. So how does it fit and how does my foot fit in the boot, and how does that work with climbing mountains and hiking and carrying gear and all that stuff. So basically what I did is I took this out into the mountains. I strapped them on at the base of the mountain, and I hiked my way in, you know, about 2.5 to 3 miles over 2 separate days. Oh man, this is hard for somebody who's used to doing everything at sea level. It's a fucking challenge. So I did about, you know, 5 or 6 miles in total, just hiking, which for me felt like straight uphill because again, I'm you know, from a flat level ground area. And so what I did is first thing I noticed is that the strapping of the boots on is actually very simple. It's very easy. I can really wrench these things down very tight, and so I have no issues with that whatsoever. The second thing I noticed is that it has two hooks on top, so you can really adjust the tightness of the boot there, but that's pretty common features. Nothing really out of the ordinary there. My foot felt really nice in there. It kind of fits almost like an athletic shoe, like something I would see from a running shoe. As far as the fitment on the inside of the inner sole there, the comfort is very high. It's actually very a padded feel on it. It's not very forgiving as far as like if I were running on concrete or something like that. I might feel like, if, you know, a little bit of heel shock if I were running with the heel striking method. But overall, not bad, especially for whenever I'm going through the mountains and things like that. You don't want too much cushion because whenever you're running on trails, you wouldn't want to, or this is my opinion anyways. My personal opinion is that if you have too much cushioning in the shoe, whenever you're doing like trail running, things like that, makes it a lot higher possibility for you to twist your ankle. If you're hiking and things like that as well, same thing. If you're going up a steep slope and you've got a lot of gear on your back, it just makes it much easier to roll your ankle or something like that. The ankle fit is very good on these boots, and I had no issues with my ankles slipping or feeling like they were loose or anything. It has great support there, especially whenever you tighten that area down a little bit more. So these boots are pretty rigid as far as the sole and the way your foot meshes with the sole. So they get really good high marks there. I'd say probably, you know, B+ as far as that goes. Again, they fit kind of like an athletic shoe. If you were to take off the top half of the boot, it would almost look like an outdoors kind of hiking shoe boot kind of thing. So very good fit, lots of room in the toes for me. I have a pretty wide foot too, and I was really surprised about that. They fit very similar to like my CrossFit shoes, so very great fitment. And you know, the whole time I was wearing them, they didn't fatigue on me at all. Next, I want to talk about you know, heat and thermal, because it kind of goes good with that wearability. So as far as these go, these are decently warm boots. It was about 70 degrees outside the whole time, between 65 and 70 degrees while I was hiking. And as far as comfort goes, these are great. So it is
pretty warm right now. It's about somewhere around probably 63, 64 degrees. My feet are a little warm. I am wearing wool socks, but absolutely comfortable this whole time. I've never had, this whole trip here, never had any issues with you know, my feet being uncomfortable or anything like that. So there is a little bit of wiggle room in the arch area for me, but not enough for me to complain. So.
And I didn't have any issues whatsoever with, you know, my feet getting real sweaty. I was even wearing wool socks in that temperature, and yeah, it didn't have any issues with my feet sweating or being uncomfortable. That being said, if it were really cold outside, there's a possibility you could get, you know, a little bit of cold toes in there, but I don't think it would happen that much. And there's still plenty of room in that foot pocket there, where if you wanted, you could probably slide a hand or foot warmer inside your boot there and still have room. Just you probably loosen your boot up and you can adjust it that well that you could slide a boot warmer in there or a foot warmer in there as well.
Take a look at all this, man. All that's way out there as far as you can see. Simply gorgeous, man.
As far as the traction of the shoe goes, the traction is absolutely amazing. So for me, I was able to climb about a 40 or 45 degree incline very simply, without any kind of stress or without any kind of issues, and it was quite easy for me.
So the traction on these boots is pretty damn amazing, honestly. So I just completely effortlessly climbed this steep little hill right here. That was a parallel horizon, so that's easily a 40% grade on it. Did that so well and so effortlessly for me. That's pretty amazing. So I'd say traction on the boots is definitely A+.
Each time I had about 20 pounds of gear on my back, nothing too much. It was kind of like a day hike. But again, I had no issues climbing a 45 degree incline, and it was actually really easy. Going back down also was pretty easy. I did lose my footing a little bit, but it was really easy to regain it, just due to the great traction of the boots. The only reason I lost my footing a little bit was because the actual land gave way there where I was walking down, as you can see in the intro there. So anyways, so as far as traction goes, great, absolutely great. Next I want to talk about, it's waterproofing. So when you're hiking, that's a pretty important thing. So you don't want to have to be able to, you don't want to have to take your boots off and things like that in order to cross a river or cross a stream or something like that. You should be able to just keep going through it and, you know, come out the other side in good shape. This is like a low-level crossing or something like that. You'll be fine with these boots. If you really don't want to take them off, but you want to cross a stream, you probably have to do something like duct tape them. Still not going to be a very good option. It seems like though that they do repel water amazingly on the outside of the boot. The only thing you have to worry about is, you know, of course, water cresting over the top of the boot and getting inside. There are ways to inhibit that, you know, to stop that from happening. But overall, it's like as long as you're in like ankle deep water or lower, then it's going to be just fine.
Waterproofing goes on it too. Quite amazing, honestly. I was really shocked. I literally completely submerged the top half of my foot in you know, muddy water. I was expecting to get a muddy boot out. I lifted my boot out of the water, it was completely clean. It kind of shocked me, actually.
The boots, I submerged them several times for up to 10 seconds at a time in, you know, this ice cold creek water, and nothing got through the boot, nothing, zero. And I was even more impressed was how clean they stayed. So I actually immersed my boot in muddy water and had zero muddy water retained on the boot whenever I lifted my foot out of the water. I kind of blown away by that, because again, as soon as I pulled my boot out of the water, everything just beaded up and ran off, and then that was it. My boot was completely dry, except for like the rubber parts were just a little bit kind of squeaky wet. So waterproofing, absolutely best you can give a boot this height. If you need something more than that, then I would recommend getting some galoshes or some you know, swamp boots or something like that. They're going to go up to almost to the knee level, and that would be your next step from this. But as far as a hiking boot goes, A+ all the way. Very good. Next we'll talk about is durability. So I was trail running over this. I was kicking rocks. I was really putting them through the ringer, and you know, this is my first time I've really put these through any kind of rigid tests or anything like that, and so far they've fared very well. I can't say for long-term durability. I'll probably check in with another video later about that, but overall these boots did really well. So again, I was trying to scuff them up. I was trying to drown them in water. I was hiking, I was running in them, I was flexing them, I was walking up 45-degree inclines. I mean, I was doing everything I could to them, and they stayed in perfect shape. I could not be happier with the way that turned out. So again, as far as the boot goes, I'm going to give it an A+ for you know, the fitment and the comfort of it. As far as, you know, the support that it gives you and how closely and tightly it fits and its adjustability, I'll give it an overall a B+. I think it was really good. There's a couple places, like I had a little bit of room in my arch where I could, you know, wiggle it just a little bit. It could probably be solved with a little insoles option, putting an insole or something like that in there, but I didn't want to go there. I just wanted the natural boot, how it laid. So give it B+ for that. As far as waterproofing, that's going to be a definite A+. I guess it doesn't get any better than that with a boot like this. You know, it couldn't possibly have done any better as far as waterproofing goes. So it gets an A+ for that. Traction, again, I had an A+ for the traction because it worked so well. I couldn't have asked for anything better from a boot that cost less than $200. Great boot. And overall, I would say too, the looks as well. The looks of the boot are really good. If you look at it from most angles, it looks almost like a kind of like a running shoe more than it does like a mountaineering boot. You know, so it's engineered to be comfortable, but it's also engineered for athletic performance, and I think it succeeds very well in that. It is available in 2 options. It's harder to get these boots now because they're a little bit older, but if you can find them online, you can get a steal of a deal on them. I've seen them in some places for just over $100 right now. And so if you see them, I'd recommend buying them. If they come out with a new version of them, I would definitely recommend giving them a try because they are just absolutely fantastic. Appreciate you tuning in, guys. Thanks for helping me grow this channel. I'm seeing new subscribers every day. Please comment in the comment section below. I want to talk to you guys. I want to have a discussion about all this. How do you feel about Under Armour clothing? Are you a fan? Do you have something else that you like? I know a lot of people out there like different brands like Badlands and Sitka and whatever else. Have you tried Under Armour? If you had another brand, have you tried Under Armour clothing as well? So I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get paid by them for any of this. This is just me giving you an honest review, and that's how I'm always going to keep it on this channel. You know, I don't want to be bought and paid for by a sponsorship. I want to keep it open and honest with you guys. So my honest opinion, great boot. If you can find it anywhere, go ahead and pick yourself up a pair. This is Travis from Apex Predator Outdoors, and as always, remember, keep defying the odds.